Alrighty, you guys, let's get this started. This is your boy, Veteran Trainer Hawk. Now, I've been really addicted to this game. I wanted to wait until I beat this entire game to go ahead and do a review on it because it is a very good game and it is part of a very good game series. Now, the game that I am talking to you guys about today is Steamworld Heist. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into this review. Steamworld Heist is the third installment in the Steamworld series and sequel to Steamworld Dig. Its initial release was on December 10th of 2015. The developer Image Informed Games and publisher Nintendo, Image Informed Games and Rising Star Games put together a game that is a turn-by-turn based action-adventure game with guns. And when I say there is guns, there is a lot of guns in this game. Oh my lord. Now, me personally, I'm not really into too much turn-by-turn based strategy games. I'm not really that type of person. The only other strategy games that I really enjoy is like maybe the Final Fantasy Tactics series and maybe some Fire Emblem, but I don't really delve too much into those games. But Steamworld Dig, something about the artistic style to it, something about how the characters are portrayed, and just the overall game style is just amazing. Steamworld Heist is the third installment and a completely different type of game from the Steamworld series. Very unique in a sense that it's a completely different game and you can tell that they can take that artistic style and still be able to create a game that's actually pretty enjoying, and it actually is pretty engrossing when it comes to the story. Like, it's not that bad. This game is going to give you about 15 to 20 hours game time, and which was perfectly advertised on their website. And I even finished the game around 20 hours. I don't know, it's like 2038, I don't really remember, but I remember it was relatively around 20 hours that I finished the actual game, and there's still a little bit to do after the game if you're a completionist and you want other things. It's not that expensive. I think it's about $15 at max, something like that. But I ended up getting it on sale when it was half off. So, I mean, it was just a really good game just to go in for it, for your money, for sure. Now, earlier when I said that this game has a lot of different guns, it does have a lot of different guns. They may be like the same base gun, like multiple shotguns and multiple assault rifles. Some have different abilities, some have better uses than others, and each one of your team members can only use a specific set of weapons, so you're going to end up having to choose between which ones are going to go where, and you can even switch weapons in between, and just kind of, if you want to, you could have like your grenaders like only use the one rocket launcher. Like, it's good to rotate out members through your adventure in this game. Now, the really cool characteristics about some of these guns is they straight up can ricochet bullets off of the wall, and this completely changed the entire dynamic to the game. Like, you can start pulling off shots from areas in the map that you thought that you couldn't even hit the enemies. Now, on top of that, one of the really cool features is that you can actually collect hats in this game, and I don't really know how to put it any other way. Like, there is some really cool hats, some really goofy hats, some out of nowhere hats, but the really cool thing is a lot of the hats as well are nods to other series. Like, you can straight up get Cloud Strife's hair as a hat. You can get Ash's Pokemon hat. You can get, I think there's a Lord of the Rings reference. There's a reference to the character of the original Steamworld Dig. You can get his hat. It's just really cool how they incorporated all of this into the game. And the way that you actually collect these hats is you have to be strategically shooting them off of the enemies' heads in the levels. On top of that, you can go and purchase them at these little like shops that pop up around the world as you're doing the quests and everything and getting through the story. But a good majority of them you're gonna have to shoot off of your enemies' heads, which also changes the whole dynamic because you're you're gonna want to get the hats. At first I was like, man, I don't really think so, and then I found myself constantly trying to figure out how to shoot off the enemy's hat and pick it up and get it out of the mission. Just little things. It's the little things that count. Now, one of the really cool features of this game as well, it kind of keeps it from not getting too stale on you, is the majority of the levels and the missions that you go into, the place is going to be randomly generated. So it's going to have different layouts, and it's going to have different enemies, and it's going to have just that good feel that you're not gonna always go into that mission and know where everything's at, you know, on point. And by when I say that the majority of them are randomly generated, is there are some levels that they kind of have to be in a specific way to play out for the story, which is just really good, because it keeps everything from getting stale, and that replay value just goes up even more. I did find myself making sure that all my characters were the same level, so I would go back and play the same level, you know, a couple times over and over, and each time that I went back, it was usually a different layout with different enemies, and the loot was in different spots, so that is just very refreshing, and that's something that I really dig about any game. Each one of the characters that are introduced into this game franchise, they have their own set of abilities, they have their own set of weapons that they can use, and of course you can equip them with any type of hat that you feel is on point with them. Now, when I say that they each have different abilities, even some of the classes that you'll end up getting, some of them will be the same. Like, I'm pretty sure you end up unlocking 2 flankers, but their abilities for each one of their characters are very different. They're kind of similar, but they are different enough to where if you want to use them in specific missions to make the mission go better, you might want to use one of the characters over the other, even though it's the same class. That is what I found extremely cool, because then you don't get this repetition of characters that you just like end up kind of sticking to because they look aesthetically pleasing, and you just kind of like throw the other characters in the back because they're kind of the same character, just with a different skin. And even myself, like, at first I thought I wasn't really gonna like some of the characters and they were just gonna sit on the back burner, but near the end of the game it wasn't even like that. Like, I was very engrossed, and I wanted to get every character to the max potential that each one of them could get to. Now, in this game, you actually get 9 unlockable characters. Now, that, in my opinion, is a lot, especially with like RPGs like Final Fantasy and just party games in general, where you have multiple characters to take care of. 9 characters in this very small game that's just wow to me. And it's really cool how each one of them have their own abilities, their own backstory, and trust me, each one of these characters will be unique enough to where you kind of get engrossed. Maybe some more than others, but there's not a character that you're just gonna more than likely just throw to the side, because each one of them are useful and really cool in their own ways. Now, I want to give a second to give a huge shout out to the music behind this game. Now, I'm not even joking. I was so digging all of the music that was put into this game. It fits the world. It's so magnificent, and if you stop at the bars and in another couple sections of the game, you will actually hear like live music from the robot bands that are playing it. All of the music in this game was composed by a band called Steam Powered Giraffe. And wow, just the name in general made me go immediately and look at these guys to see what it was all about, and wow, did I come to some surprising images of what these guys look like. But they are jamming nonetheless. I love how the music is just put into this game. It makes every situation very good, and I'm not even gonna lie, I would go ahead and I'll just give them a shout out. Like, you guys should just go ahead and check out these guys. Like, seriously, look at how these guys look. It is amazing. Now, another really cool thing that I found, it's just something that me personally I like, and it's kind of like with the Fallout series. Like, they have the little cartoonish, like the Vault, you know, the Vault Boy commercials and everything. They actually have that in the game as the cutscenes. So when you're going through and you're doing the story missions, you'll see the narrator, which the narrator's voice is awesome as well. Sounds just like a narrator from the Fallout ones and everything. And he's actually telling the story, and it's going through these little snippets in that same artistic style, and it was just something that I found really, really cool, and it fits so good with the actual artistic style of the game in general, that very steampunk robot like vibe that you're getting from all of these games. It's just amazing. And also, now the last thing that I probably have to cover that should be really important, and a lot of people, this just gives it so much replay value, is you actually have a new game plus in this game. And yes, after I said that there was 15 to 20 hours of gameplay, at the end of the game, I won't ruin the end of the game, but at the end of the game, there's like this black hole like type thing that pops up at the end. And when you go to it, it says you can start a new game plus, you'll have all of your characters still unlocked, all the hats that you have, and I don't remember correctly if you can bring the guns. I don't remember that one very specifically, but still, you get to keep all your characters, you get to keep the levels from what I know, and you pretty much just like restart the whole entire adventure again. And you can, this is good for the completionists that just want to play through it again, get everything, see a little bit more of the game. It's just, I find that so cool, and especially in a small title like this. Now, I will go ahead and talk about some of the negatives to this game. Now, there really wasn't too many negatives on my part. There's only like 2 gripes that I can think of with this game that might kind of annoy some of the people actually playing this game. Now, the first gripe that I have is when you're going ahead and moving your characters, and this is just something that I know personally from playing like Final Fantasy Tactics and Fire Emblem, you have to pay attention to where you move your character, because once your finger hits that button, it does not ask you if you want to move there. It doesn't say anything like that. Your character just moves right on the fly. Like, and I found myself getting so frustrated because I would be scrolling through, and then, you know, sometimes your hand like bumps the stick over, or you're not too far enough and you're just trying to get through the level because you're like grinding or whatever. And I found just putting my characters in the stupidest places and just them getting shot down. And the only way that I found myself being able to actually counteract this is this game has an autosave feature for each one of those, which it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I'll get a little bit more into it, but it'll autosave after the turn. So if you go ahead and you like mess up a character's turn, or you like what I did for the majority of the game trying to get all of the hats, I would try to shoot off the hat and it wouldn't work, and I would just exit and then reload the game. If you do play this game, don't try to play it too rough, and just make sure that you remember that. And the only other gripe that I can really say, but it's like a reoccurring thing throughout all of the Steamworld Dig like games, is the currency that you kind of get in this game is literally water. That's all I can explain it. It's just water. Some of the times if you fail a mission, and it'll just literally cut your water in half. That's pretty much what it is. It just cuts it right in half. So if you have over 10,000 water, you're just getting struck right back down to 5,000. And that to me was just extremely annoying, just for the simple fact that some of the levels are way easier than others, some are harder than others, and you know the whole difficulty, and you get all this stuff, and some of the weapons you're purposely trying to save up for, and then if you mess up, move your character in the wrong position, or you can't complete the mission in some way or form, you just get half of your resources just bam, done to you. But that was pretty much just one of the little gripes that I had with the game. Other than that, in my personal opinion, I would have to give this game ranked out of a 10. It has to go up as an 8 out of 10. And that is just literally just because the gameplay is really good, and just those few gripes that it'll kind of just like, it'll annoy you at sometimes in the game. But without further ado, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys actually dug one of my very first, review videos, please go ahead and smash that like button. Give a comment down below if you've played this game, if you like it, what you guys think I missed maybe in the game, or just get some engagement down there. Tell me what you like, dislike about the game, if you might be picking it up now that you've actually watched this. But if you guys also, please go ahead and share this video if you really like it. And maybe go ahead and just subscribe to the channel for me if you guys would. It would be very appreciative. I can't wait to be coming out with more of these review videos, and I'll be coming out with game videos as well. I'm just trying to broaden the horizons on my channel. That way we can go ahead and start making some great content moving forward. But without further ado, I am Veteran Trainer Hawk, and I will see all of you again.